welcome to Mash on This. My legs hurt. Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. Sponsored by Ally's hardest working dollar. I'm your host, David Gergen. That's Jurgen for Flurgen, also known as Dory Greenberg. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer. So be sure to tell us what you think in the comments. We'll get to them at the end of the show. Don't be shy. We want to hear what you think. Now, let's get into it. You might still be reeling after Donald Trump decided to pull the United States out of the Paris Agreement because it's just as damaging to the environment as it is completely embarrassing and destructive to America. One of Trump's reasons for doing this was to cater to the mining community, many of whom voted for Trump after he came to mining towns across the U.S. and did things like this. Yeah, that's proper form. So, like many of us, John Oliver was curious about why Trump seems to appear to love coal so much. So on yesterday's episode of Last Week Tonight, he did a fantastic deep dive into the mining industry and the plethora of old saggy men who regularly put their miner employees in danger in favor of money in their old saggy pockets. But he also brought it back around to talk about Trump's campaign promises to bring coal jobs back. So roll the clip.
I don't think it can come back to where it was, but we can stop it, and that's what I've told Mr. Trump. And he gets it.
Hang on there, Bob. No, he doesn't. He barely gets what mining is. He may well think it's just running up to things that he wants and yelling, "Mine!" And that's possible. And B, he's repeatedly told miners that they're going to be working their arses off. If Trump really cares about miners, he would be putting a plan in place for their futures as mining continues its long-term decline. But he isn't doing that. For a sense of how he really feels, just read a Playboy interview from 1990 where he said, and I quote, "If I had been the son of a coal miner, I would have left the damn mines. But most people don't have the imagination or whatever to leave their mine. They don't have it." And you know what? They certainly don't have what Trump has, specifically inherited wealth and hair like the wispy pubes of an aging Yeti.
Yes, coal. It's a dirty job, but Trump isn't going to do it. Oh, Facebook, our beloved Facebook, the home of us, is making a major play to be more like YouTube. The tech giant is asking media companies like us to produce original videos, and in exchange, the publishers will reap some of the revenue for ads that roll in the middle of videos, known in the marketing world as mid-rolls, which you might have already seen on your own news feeds. But there are some companies who aren't feeling so kumbaya about this kind of mid-roll arrangement. According to Bloomberg.com, the general manager of CNN's digital operations says that the financial compensation the social platform offers isn't enough to convince him that a working relationship with Facebook will be worthwhile in the long term. We know firsthand that creating the kinds of visual stories that perform well is expensive, and that difficulty is always compounded whenever Facebook feels like changing the kind of material they want publishers to create, seemingly at a moment's notice. And this is why several executives say that they'll decrease their Facebook commitments unless things improve. But not us. Facebook says jump, and we say, how high? It's not that we're desperate for Facebook's approval. We just don't want to bite the hand that feeds us at the current moment because we are very hungry, so very hungry. Please love us, Facebook. Speaking of hungry, I woke up this morning with a crazy hankering for some McDonald's Frenchie fries.
No, Dory, they'll kill you.
Okay, Sarah, you gotta lay off those werewolf teen shows because you're being really overdramatic about this kind of. I don't think.
No, seriously, they will. Read the teleprompter.
Okay, let's see. A recent study published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who eat fried potatoes 2 or more times a week were, quote, at an increased risk of mortality? Oh. The research team divided study participants into subgroups based on how frequently they ate potatoes each week. A dozen researchers discovered that those who ate fried potatoes 2 to 3 times per week were twice as likely to die early compared to those who didn't eat fried potatoes at all. But don't give up all hope yet, says NYU's food studies professor Marian Nestle, fried potatoes are associated with somewhat higher mortality, but this does not mean that they cause death. So I guess my Frenchy fries are kind of dangerous for me, but so is seemingly everything else I put in my body nowadays. Can we ever avoid death completely? What do you think? Sound off in the comments. Now, it's time for one of our favorite segments on MASH on This. It's called Cool Japanese Stuff. And today's stuff also borderlines on being kind of a bummer, but overall, it's something to bark home about. And yeah, I said bark because there are dogs in Japan that can smell cancer. The town of Kaneyama in northeastern Japan has a notably high fatality rate from stomach cancer. So residents are now part of a research program in which their frozen urine samples are sent to the Nippon Medical School, where dogs are trained to sniff out signs of the disease, which, like other types of cancers, has a distinct smell that a dog's 300 million nasal sensors can detect. And according to the medical school, these cancer sniffing poochies have been able to find signs of cancer almost 100% of the time, which aids in early detection for these Japanese people. So for being brave enough to use your nose for the sake of humanity, thanks to all those dogs and their trainers in Japan, we salute you and arigato gozaimasu. This might come as a shock to some of you watching, but many times, entertainment critics or reporters will get advanced access to a new show or season before it's available to the public. And even though it might seem unfair to non-Hollywood types, the fact remains that these advanced screenings are an integral part of generating buzz and excitement for the rest of us normals. But in an attempt to prevent spoilers in an era that is always thirsting for them, HBO is not allowing writers to see any episodes from season 7 of Game of Thrones, thereby putting them in the same blind position as you and me. Game of Thrones has been the most pirated TV show on the internet for the last 5 years. This, plus the fact that the show has now surpassed George R.R. Martin's original story, means that keeping everybody in the dark is much more important. Because not even readers of the G.O.T. books will have knowledge of the new plots or twists. But what do you think of HBO's decision to forego creating buzz for the show in exchange for maximizing the entertainment value? Holler in the comments. While we're on the subject of new releases, though, Pitch Perfect 3 is on the horizon, and the film just released a fresh teaser. In this behind-the-scenes look at the film, which is out on December 22nd, the director, Trish C., reveals that our favorite girls a cappella group is hitting the road for a global tour. The trailer is giving fans many feels because this seems like this is the very last time we'll be seeing these girls singing their hearts out. So check out all the tears and the group hugs as the ladies wrap filming and say goodbye.
I've been crying all day. It's pretty emotional.
Want to miss these ladies? No, you're not gonna miss us because we ain't letting you go. How about that? We're all gonna miss this. It's been a wild ride.
Oh, geez. It's kind of like watching a group of seniors graduate high school, but I don't know, isn't leaving high school only sad if you peaked in high school? I don't know, but I have a feeling that they'll all be A-okay, and I would not be surprised at all to see a Pitch Perfect revival 20 years from now. You heard it here first. I don't think they're going anywhere.